Hey, what's up, diggers? Prospector here with Watcher Realms. Some of you were lucky enough to pull Yoar. I'd like to show you how to integrate him into your guild boss team. I played with him for a couple of hours yesterday after I pulled him. I have also put a legendary soulstone into him, so it might be a little different for you, but I'll explain the difference and how to work around that. Without further ado, let's dig in. Okay, so Yoar is on a 15x pull rate. I'm assuming a bunch of people have probably pulled him. Not all of you. You're not all meant to get the hero every time it comes up on a 15x. But let's go over how to integrate him into a guild boss team. So prior to this, I was using Araka in this position, and I would place her in basically a invigoration set to buff one of the other heroes, but it was a damage invigoration set, so I would try to place her and rotate her out with Laurel. This is the kind of team you're probably going to be looking at. Down here you could have a Pyros Infernal Blast team. It doesn't really matter as long as they're all in range. The issue with using any of the other teams with this comp is that if you have Iovar, Silas, and Hex, it's probably going to be best just to place those three on the platforms on the side. Look at the map. They're going to occupy this one here, right here, and down here. And you're going to have Dolores here, Laurel here, and Hollow here. So you can see where the issue would be, where if you put one of the Infernal Blast Lords on one of these tiles up here, you wouldn't be able to use one of the marksmen of Silas, Hex, or Iovar. And obviously we know that he generates more swords faster, the more marksmen on the field, so you really do want those three. So let's just jump right in, and I'll walk you through it the best I can. I might not get the highest number as I'm trying to talk, but if you're looking for a more detailed breakdown of his kit, I do have a video that had launched, and it goes over his kit and how his ultimate works and stuff. Alright, so first thing I'm going to do is pause. I like to have this upwards view of this. Alright, so we're going to place Lust down. I'm going to pause. And I have Volca here. She is an invig set. So I'm going to place her down, point her at Lust. And you can see she gets the attack bonus. Next is going to be Arrogance. Pause it again. And Torador is also in an invig set. So I'm going to place him pointing at Arrogance, so he gets the invig bonus. Pick him up right away. I'm going to place Yoar up in his top left corner. I'll explain a little bit about that in a second. I'm going to place Laurel right here. Laurel is also an invig. She will give Yoar the attack bonus. We're going to put down Silas. Hollow is an invig set as well. That'll give Silas the bonus. And then Hex right here. And then Dolores is an invig set, and she'll give Hex the invig bonus. You have to farm Gear Raid 2 to get all those invig sets as a 10% attack to your whole team, all your damage dealers, and even a 10% bonus to Dolores Hollow. It's a really nice set to be using. So when Yoar comes to his first ultimate, we're going to use it right away. And I'll explain just how to calculate this as you're going along, best I can. Keep it on 1x. As soon as it pops up, everybody's is going to go. All these heroes are in Soulbound except for Hex. I mean, not Hex, except for Silas. So you want to get those cycled as soon as possible to get that bonus going. Yoar, when it comes around a second time, go ahead and hit it. As soon as Laurel is finished with her ultimate, pull her up. And then the shield should be coming up in a second. And we are gonna hit Lust, Silas, Hollow, and we're gonna wait a second for Yoar. I am gonna put down Volca. As soon as you hit Dolores' ultimate, come around the second time, go ahead and hit Yoar. Hex. And then we should be able to get Volca off. And before this ultimate is done on Dolores, you should be able to hit Yoar again. And that will have those vulnerabilities up for that hit. I'm going to pause for a second. From this point forward, I'm pretty much going to try to shoot to have Yoar only using his ultimate if Dolores' ultimate is up. So if he has the inspiration buff, then we're going to use his ultimate. It does come up a lot quicker than that in general, but having a couple extra swords generated on him before using it is just fine. We're going to put Laurel down, and we're going to leave her down until their ultimates are all ready to go again. Alright, we're good to go. Make sure you activate Dolores first. Then we're going to pull up Laurel. That should get Hex closer to his ultimate. I'm going to place Torador down so they get decreased defense going. And then we're going to hit Hex. In this comp, it's a rage regen comp. It's basically based on activating his ultimates as often as you possibly can on all your damage dealers. We're gonna activate Dolores again. Lost, Silas, Hollow. Tear down the shield pretty quickly. And Dolores' ultimate is ready, or on, so we can hit Yoar as well. As soon as Laurel gets to about 1 second, we'll pull up Torador and try to cycle him again. We're gonna put her down, and we're just gonna pick her up immediately. We are going to wait for these two to be ready. Lost, Silas, Dolores, Hex, Yoar, Hollow, place down Volca. Volca's in a really quick rage regen set. It's an invig, but it's really high rage regen. I think it's about 130%. All I'm trying to do is get her ultimate off as fast as possible so that these guys get that be able to hit the boss with the vulnerabilities as soon as I can. Otherwise, besides that, she's not doing a lot of damage on her own. But it does make a massive difference. So now we're going to hold here. So we're coming up on that shield at 128. So I'm going to hold everybody's ultimates, hit Hollow, and keep Volca down temporarily. 129, 128. I'm going to pick Volca up. I'm going to put Laurel down. And the reason I paused here is for Laurel. The reason we put her down here and we hold is to get everybody's ultimates off and get that bonus from Laurel as she's on the field. Yep, the shield's going to come up. Everybody's ultimates. Remember to do Dolores' ultimate first, always, prior, and as soon as you get Hex's ult off, pull up Laurel, place down Torador. Looking pretty good. We can go ahead and hit Yovar's ultimate again. Should be just about finished when Dolores' ult's finished. We will hit Dolores again. Lost, Silas. And as you can see, we just passed the 50,000k or 50k blood. And the goal now is just to get as much as we possibly can. We also want to get Laurel down one more time for another ult for everybody. Hopefully. Activate Hex after placing Laurel. How we're going to do this, we're going to place Laurel, activate Hex. He gets the bonus from her being on the field. Pick up Laurel, activate Dolores, Yoar, Lost, and Silas. Place Volca down. And then from the rest of the fight, I usually typically just put on auto and put on 2x. And then see what they end up with. Just cross 60k. About 62 almost. Yeah, 62k. Now, that isn't the record, it wasn't the smoothest. I do get mine over 83k. That's probably because he has a legendary soul stone in him. I've heard that people are getting him over 100 million damage. I haven't seen it. For some reason my hex has been a little weird. I think it just depends on when he ults. But Silas is sitting at 136. Lust is at 115. Arrogance is 105. Hex is at 87. And Yovar is at 83. Now, I'll go over the gear quick. All three of the marksmen are in Spirit Siphons. I think Hex is not maxed out. Go to Silas. He's in an Infernal Roar, Annihilating Might set, high crit damage. Attack as high as I can get it. So it's 400 crit damage, crit capped. 1.2 second attack interval, and 12.4k attack. As I said, the artifact is Spirit Siphon. Yovar is in a maxed out Spirit Siphon. A Soul Bond set is the best for Yovar. 16.95k attack. Crit capped, 1.1 second attack interval, and 322% crit damage. I've found that I do better with the hero when I have a higher attack than I do having a maxed out crit damage. He has a little bit of ignore defense going on, but it's not a game changing thing, or it's not consistent enough where you can just like boost his crit damage and ignore his attack too much. So if you look for that 350 crit damage range, then you should be fine with that. Now for Hex, same thing, kind of Soul Bond set, Warlord set, really low attack, 391 crit damage, 1.0 second attack interval. This is just kind of a limit in my Soul Bond sets. I don't have high enough or good enough gear to get him to that 11 to 12k attack, which I'd like him to be at, and then maintain the 1 second attack interval and have high enough crit damage. I need one more attack percentage Soul Bond piece that can fit into the spot here. As for his artifact, he is in a level 19 Spirit Siphon. I have the Spirit Siphons for it, I just need to get the Mithril, and then he'll be maxed out. Arrogance, he's in his exclusive artifact, and I have it at level 13. For gear, Soul Bond set, Warlord set. It's going to be a very common thing you're going to see. 13.9k attack, 1.3 attack interval, crit capped, 390% crit damage. Because Dolores is in there, you can always kind of shoot the attack a little bit lower. If he was being used other places, it might be more ideal to keep his attack a little higher. And now for Lust, her artifact, she's in her exclusive artifact, and just at level 10. She's in an Infernal Roar set. I have tested this a few times with Soul Bond Arcana versus Infernal Roar, and it might be a limitation of my gear. I just don't have a good enough Soul Bond Arcana set, but I have found that in general, it is much better to have an Infernal Roar set, and this is just based off of just damage numbers that I've tested and came out with. So you do want Infernal Roar. 14k attack, 1.4 attack interval, crit capped, and 358 crit damage. That kind of seems to be the goal, kind of ideal number to hit with most of the Guild Boss heroes. What else do we have to look at here? Okay, Torador is an Invig set with Annihilating Might, 16k attack, crit capped, 300 crit damage, and a 2 second attack interval. I just want him to be fast enough to keep that decreased defense up when he's out. And as for his artifact, I have a maxed out Tuning Crystal for Volca. This is going to be a really weird build for you guys. She's in a Wailing Skull. I don't know. It doesn't really matter if she stays in a Wailing Skull or not. I guess it is what it is. A little extra damage. As for her gear, she's in an Ivig set with Annihilating Might. She has a really low attack. Usually when she's activating anyway, she gets a Dolores buff. 1.2 attack interval. Crit rate is extremely low. 241 crit damage. And rage regen is sitting at 135%. That's not including the Pantheon bonus. All I was really going for is getting that ultimate off as soon as possible. And it's kind of a big thing. People kind of underestimate Volca these days, and this vulnerability here when you're hitting so hard with these heroes, it's a massive difference when they're attacking with that on. It's almost like him being completely vulnerable when his shield is down. As for Hollow, Invig set, 13k attack, 1.4 second attack interval, and 85% rage regen and 66 heal effect. The artifact is Euphoric Orb. I don't have it maxed out yet. Gotta get that done. Laurel is also an Invig set. She's also fast, and she has some rage regen to try to get her ultimate off as fast as possible. As for her artifact, it's a Nightmare Samsara, just more rage regen. And I think that is it for gear. And one last thing before I go with the Iovar, it's tempting to try to wait until he gets all 12 flying swords up. It's really hard to gauge. I've tried it, like I said, for about 2 hours straight, trying to just rerun them and see if I can't get those swords right. You also get like a, let's see, where is it? I think it's right here. You consume 12 flying swords, the duration of the victorious pursuit is increased by 5 seconds. And I'm just thinking like, well, maybe it's worth waiting for the 12 swords. It comes out almost about the same. It really does. So the first couple ultimates, you want to cycle them as fast as possible. And then after that, if you try to wait, it just doesn't really work out like you would think it would. So just go ahead and just try to activate his ultimate whenever it's up. I typically do try to wait to make sure that he isn't activating outside of Dolores's buff, and that kind of makes it so the run works pretty smoothly. End up with like 60 to 65k. I think the highest I've gotten was 65k, and on that run, Yoar actually only had a 78 mil run. So anyways, I hope you found this video helpful. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you did, and leave a comment down in the comment section down below. Don't forget to check out the Discord. We're always helping each other out, doing takeovers, giving advice. I'm happy to see your polls and your progress that you're making. And there's also hero guides, stage guides, and all kind of good stuff in there, and just generally good people. And thanks for tuning in, and until next time, keep digging.